have a breakthrough with Assad. That's the Friedrich Assad. I have a breakthrough with Assad. What's the breakthrough? He said Assad has agreed to peace talks with Israel on 3 conditions. What are the 3 conditions, Warren? 1, he gets as much money as Mubarak gets every year. 2, he gets Lebanon back. It was stolen from him by the French. 3, Israel agrees to demilitarize down to Haifa. Then he'll talk. Those are his preconditions for talking. Do you understand what you're dealing with? Yeah. 17 trips. So the answer is, now this sounds very funny. As last time we met with Rabins, he said, Clinton is twisting my arm out to make a deal with Syria. I don't have to worry, he said. Assad wants peace for land about as much as Ariel Sharon wants to give land for peace. Of course, Ariel Sharon proved otherwise 10 years later, but don't worry. The Assad hasn't. I wish there was someone to make a peace deal with. I'm a liberal guy. I wish there was peace. I'm all for peace. Who's there to make peace with? Who do you make a deal with? Time after time, time after time. From 1937 to 2005, Israel has offered land for peace. And there's really nobody to giving peace for land. So it's difficult. It's painful. It's excruciating, especially for us libs. And it's not easy. And to the degree that the Egyptian peace treaty collapses, it certainly will set back any possibility of any negotiated peace. Keep an eye on Jordan. People are holding their breath about Jordan right now. It looks like the kings pulled it off. Jordan is a 65-70% Palestinian country, ruled by Hashemites. The king's grandfather was thrown out of Mecca by Ibn Saud, great-grandfather. And Winston Churchill gave him 2/3 of the mandate instead as his consolation prize for losing Mecca. And it's not simple. Jordan would be a much greater danger to Israel than Egypt. The radicalization of Jordan, the Palestinization of Jordan. I've never understood those Jews on the right who say, Palestine is, Jordan is Palestine. Are you crazy? You want an independent, you want to throw out the Hussein and replace him with a Palestinian country, which in 48 hours will be ruled by Hamas? You really want that on your eastern border? I don't. So it won't be Vermont, Massachusetts, I promise you. Fair enough? Okay, is that it? Last question, last turn for a question.
So Jordan, he's okay in Jordan?
Davening hard for Abdullah, he seems he's pulled it off. But you know, these things are very vulnerable. Very vulnerable. The irony is, King Farouk of Egypt once said that in a generation there will only be 5 kings left in the world, the 4 that play in the cards, and the King of England. It will be ironic if the King of Saudi Arabia is the last Arab monarch standing, wouldn't it? And heartbreaking. But it was, Ariel Sharon said to us, a number of years ago, I was with him, with JCPA, he said to us, remember one thing, if there were elections in Saudi Arabia, James Madison would not win. Osama bin Laden might. And so as horrible as the Saudis are the Makora Tuma, but nevertheless, there are Makora Tuma. And the United States and Israel desperately, desperately wants that regime to stay in power. And the Saudis seem to pull it off. They buy their people and they pay them off well. Which can only continue. Meanwhile, what's going on in Libya is fascinating to see how it plays out in the next 48 hours. I would not be surprised if we saw a European NATO force going into Libya in the next few days. Nor would I be heartbroken. Okay, thank you very much.